Hello everyone, my name is El, and today I will tell you about the case study of Vanitas Part 2. While in the room, Dante tells Vanitas, and No, that the best of Gévaudan has shown its face. So they prepare to travel alongside Dante and Johann to Gévaudan. As they get to Gévaudan, they reach the Silver Forest where Vanitas tells them the history of the forest. In the 18th century, a beast appeared at Gévaudan that killed more than 100 women and children. Not only does the beast exist, but also a witch in the forest. As they walk, the forest reminds No of his childhood, and he walks away from the others. As Vanitas realizes this, he is distracted by a conversation with Johann. He checks for No and realizes No is missing. No, whose cap falls off, goes to find his cap. Suddenly, they find themselves in a snowy environment. As Vanitas and the others look for No, they see some soldiers saying that they want to kill the beast. Vanitas explains that these soldiers are dragoons who were sent in the 18th century by King Louis to find and kill the beast. They realize they have time jumped to the 18th century. As they watch, the beast arrives. The dragoons shoot their guns at the beast, but the beast doesn't die. They realize that the beast heals very fast. The beast chases them, but Jen jumps to fight the beast. In the forest, No sees a man chasing and killing the dragoons. As the man kills the last one, he introduces himself as Astolfo Granatum, a Chaucer. Chaucers are given the responsibility to protect the people. No wonders why Astolfo, who is meant to protect the people, is the one killing humans. Astolfo explains it's in self-defense, as the men were the ones who mistook him for a lady and tried to touch her. Astolfo suspects Noah is a vampire, as he removes his sword at Noah. He confirms that Noah is a vampire and tries to fight Noah, but Noah doesn't fight back. They eventually return to Vanitas, who asks Noah why he allowed Astolfo to wound him. Vanitas taunts Astolfo to fight him. He compares Astolfo with other strong Chaucers until Astolfo falls into the trap. Astolfo tries to fight Vanitas, but Vanitas keeps teasing him, making him angry. As a result, Nyenya and some other demons appear. Astolfo loses his mind, and Vanitas opens the Book of Vanitas. He breaks the beast's curse, and a little girl named Chloe stands beside wounded No. Jean-Jacques appears. He takes Vanitas' book and tells Chloe to come home with him. Jen comes for Chloe's body and she sees Vanitas lying injured. She figures he has been wounded by a poison knife from Astolfo and offers to help him. She takes him home, forces him to remove his cold clothes, and sits half naked beside him to warm his body. As they sit, she apologizes for allowing him to fight the beast and says Chloe remained a beast because of her. She tells him that she traveled a lot when she was with her father, Ruthven. One day they traveled, and she stayed with Marquise de Piche. It was there she met Chloe, an older vampire who was locked at Marquis's home. She became friends with Chloe and grew fond of her. When she was about to leave, she promised to see Chloe again. However, the next time she met her, Chloe was already the beast. She couldn't kill her old friend, so she asked for another opportunity to do her job well. She forces Vanitas to drink water from her mouth before they go to bed. The following day, she sees Vanitas outside talking with Johann. She figures he is now better and regrets how she had acted the night before. Dante joins the duo and tells them Jean-Jacques had taken Noah and the book at Chloe's house. She forces Noah to give her his blood. She had already drunk a lot of Noah's blood over the night, and Noah was already weak. Luckily for him, Jean-Jacques comes and tells Chloe not to drink any other blood except his. He says he is jealous, and Chloe asks for Noah's blood. They call No to join them at the dining table. Vanitas realizes Dante is hiding something. He threatens Dante to tell him why all the authorities are looking for Chloe. Then he asks John to take them where Chloe will be so they can rescue No and get the book back. No leaves his room to join them at the dining table. He is shocked that Chloe knows his name and asks Chloe how she found out his name. Chloe reveals she is in the company of charlatans, envoying Nyenya. No gets angry. Chloe is in the company of Nyenya, who reminds Chloe that Nyanya was the one who stole her name and made her a beast. However, Chloe says she was the one who gave Nyanya her name because Nyanya fulfilled her long wish. No remembers the same way Nyanya stole his friend Louise's name and decides to attack Nyanya. He pours his food out in the process, so Chloe knocks him out. He wakes with Jacques and tells him how wicked Nyanya is, hoping that it will make Chloe leave Nyanya. He sits with Jacques and eats. Meanwhile, Dante confesses to Vanitas that the main reason humans and vampires are looking for Chloe is that Chloe is working on a world formula to produce an alternative engine. Dante is working for Sir Francis Vernet, who asks him to get Vanitas involved and bring him the formulas. When Chloe's home, she tells Nyanya about her background. She woke up one day and became a vampire. Since then, her father promised her he would create a formula to return her to human. Her father locked her in the house for years and gathered the world's best to make the formula for an alternate engine. Her father's long wish didn't get actualized, he died, and the desire passed to another family leader. Gradually, she remained the only surviving member, and that was when she met Auguste Riven, who brought him, John. John was her only friend who took her away from inside the castle for the first time. Eventually, John left one day, and Ruth then came to her for her alternate engine, but she refused him. She became unsatisfied with her life, and Nyanya offered to fulfill her wish on the condition that she became a beast, and she took the offer. Vanitas and John travel together to find the beast. As they walk, they see the same scene they saw the day before, and Vanitas realizes they are in an enclosed place in the beast's world. On the other hand, Jacques had poisoned No. He pushes No into a room and tells him he has realized No can detect a vampire's memory through bloodsucking. So he puts his blood on No to figure out his memory. No travels through Jack's memory. He gets to know the first time Jack met Chloe and how Chloe was depressed that her family, the Depicki family, was destroyed by the beast. He hoped to help Chloe by getting revenge against humans, so he met with Nyanya, who sold his name, taking the complete appearance of a beast. Nyanya also tells Chloe of this history and says if Chloe wants to change the suspicion that she is a beast, someone has to become the beast. No finds out the day Jacques fought against his father and his father said he would be helpful only after his death. Meanwhile, Jen has gone to fight the beast. She violently fights the battle, hoping that the beast is Chloe. Eventually, Vanitas and No meet each other. No tells Vanatos all he has found out and insists he wishes to stay and get to know what Chloe wants to do with the alternate engine on her hand, and he wants to help the family. Vanitas volunteers to remain with No. He goes to meet Chloe and asks for his book. While he talks, Jen stands beside Chloe, telling Chloe that Vanatos is an enemy. Chloe starts detonating her alternate engine. According to Nyanya, Chloe intends to use it to wipe away the city. But rather, Chloe uses it to give Nyanya a human form so she can get revenge for Jacques. As she avenges Nyanya, Nyanya takes her proper form as a vampire. She is the Malnome of the Queen of Faustina and the first vampire of the Crimson Moon. She takes her natural form and kisses Chloe to distract her. Chloe falls to the floor. The force in the room controls and falls. Vanitas and No also enter to help. The beast finds Chloe incapacitated on the floor and attempts to attack Nyanya, who pushes the beast down easily. Jen also enters, and she realizes Chloe is different from the beast. The force in the Malnome makes the estate float. All of the citizens of Saudi become homeless. Noah and Vanitas leave the estate, and No gets angry that Vanatos didn't tell him everything about Nyanya before they arrived. In defense, Vanitas says he wasn't sure and he didn't want No to doubt him. They realize several beasts are walking to attack these stranded citizens, and about the same time, they unite with Roland, the paladin of the Chaucers. The Chaucers fight the wolves while Roland tells Noah and Vanatos to find a way to cure the beast before he kills the beast in the castle. Jen goes into a trance. She remembers she was just a vessel in the hand of Riven. She remembers the day her parents took her into Ruthen's care and the time Riven told her parents had betrayed the vampires, so she would have to suffer for her parents' offense by becoming a Barrow. She becomes his vessel summoned with the first responsibility of killing the beast. She assumes Chloe is the beast, but she cannot kill Chloe. She vows to kill her again, but Vanitas tells her it isn't too late to help Chloe. Vanitas asks John what she wants and if she sincerely wants to kill Chloe. She says she doesn't intend to kill Chloe, but if she doesn't fulfill her responsibility, someone will die on her behalf, and it may be Vanitas. Vanatos volunteers to die if needed and begs Vanitas to save Chloe. Vanitas and No go to wake Jack up. Vanitas hits Jack repeatedly in his weak state to wake him up. As Jack wakes, Vanitas tells him Chloe's revenge was a failure, and if he wishes to save Chloe, he must give him back the Book of Vanitas. At about the same time, Dante enters with Johann. Meanwhile, while incapacitated, Astolfo remembers the reason he has so much hatred for vampires. While as a kid, his mother advised him to be nice to everyone. He walked around with his sister, and he met a wounded vampire. His sister had compassion for this vampire, so he went home and brought treatment for him. He treated the vampire and became friends with him. One day, the vampire asks for his home address, and since he took the vampire as a friend, he told him wholeheartedly. Unfortunately, the vampire came to kill his family because the Chosers were the ones who killed his family. Since then, he has had a lot of hatred for vampires. He summons his strength and stabs Jacques. He also attacks No, who starts to fight against time. The regret and determination made Astolfo stronger. He was much stronger than No, and No wondered about his source of strength. Also, the beast Roland is fighting against refuses to die. It keeps its power and recreates itself in a new form. While the other Chaucers try to protect the citizens and the castle, Vanitas tells Jacques that Chloe intends to die for her revenge. Jack thinks about their past together and realizes Vanatos is right. He screams to Chloe that he wants to be with her forever. Eventually, Vanitas gets his book. He opens it in an attempt to break Chloe's curse. As Vanitas attempts to break the curse, he realizes he can't break a malnum unless the curse bearer is ready to free herself from the curse. He screams at Chloe to choose herself or else the world she intends to protect will be destroyed in front of her. Meanwhile, Nil feels a little out of Astolfo's past and pains during the fight. He goes to Roland, who tells him he won't ask him not to fight Astolfo, but he should realize the vampires destroyed Astolfo's family, and Astolfo is angry against vampires. Noah realizes that he has to fight Astolfo back. He loses his hands to Astolfo, but he refuses to give up. Eventually, Vanatos forces Chloe to leave her bondage and come out of her curse. Immediately she does, the city becomes snowy, her spell gets broken, and she reverts her name as Kenaris, meaning she who makes music with snowflowers. She gets angry at Jack for risking his life for her. The beast leaves, and Roland comes to Astolfo. Chloe reunites with John, who is so happy to have her friend back. Jen runs to Vanitas. She jumps at him in appreciation and sucks out his blood. She asks him to promise he will kill her if she goes a wolf. No reunites with Vanitas. They meet Chloe and Jack promises to spend his life caring for Chloe. He reveals his name is Aprix, meaning he who nestles up to the last snow. Noah returns to Paris with Vanitas. He hurriedly runs to Count Orlok to complain that Vanatos is sick. As they go to examine it, Vanitas refuses anyone to touch him since Jen sucked out some of his blood. He has not been able to take her off his mind, and he thinks he has been placed under a curse by Jen. He concludes that he has read all the books of magic at his disposal, and he still doesn't know the source of the curse. As he walks around and sees couples, he remembers Jen again. He eventually walks into Roland and Oliver and explains his symptoms to them. They tell him he's in love, but he refuses to accept. They conclude that Jen also feels the same for him, but he thinks otherwise. He says the reason he went near to her was that he didn't imagine anyone could fall in love with a man like him. As he leaves, Olivier tells Roland he is getting too emotional towards Vanitas. Meanwhile, Jen talks with her friend Luca about her last fight. Luca expresses her pleasure that Jen didn't have to kill her friend and asks for Chloe's location. Jin says she doesn't know Chloe's location, but she is sure Vanitas will take care of her. She expresses to Luca that she is in love with Vanitas. Luca takes this gist to Lady Dominique, who asks her how she will be in love with Vanitas, a man quite the opposite of Noah, who they presume to be noble and handsome. Lady Dominique is kidnapped by a man who asks her to bring Noah to him. The man says since she failed at her task of bringing Noah, he will use her as bait for Noah. Noah receives a letter from a man named Mikel. As he opens the letter, Domi's hair falls off, and he finds a letter that Domi has been kidnapped, and he should meet with him. Noah remembers the last time he met Domi with her brother Luis. He was their friend until Luis caught the curse a night before Luis's execution. Domi calls out for him, and he went with Domi to find Luis, and Luis bid him. While he is incapacitated, a maid comes to Domi to tell her Luis was her twin brother. Twin in the generation of vampires was a crime, and her parents had to kill one of them. So her parents took Domi and left Luis for their grandfather. She regrets that she was chosen. At about the same time, Noah woke up. He called her Louis, and she continued regretting she was alive. She left home, and she met Mikel, who became her first friend. He meets with Mikel at an amusement park. Mikel explains he is Vanitas' brother and he wants to know why Vanitas killed their father. He asks Noah to take Vanitas' blood and learn about Vanitas' past. When Mikel realizes Noah didn't know anything about Vanitas' past, he decides to sacrifice his blood so Noah will know their history. As Noah takes the blood, he sees when the church caught Mikel after a vampire killed his mother. He was taken under the care of Dr. Moreau, who named them with numbers. Vanitas was number 69, while Mikel was number 71. Mikel stayed in the same room with Vanitas, called Venados, Big Brother. Moreau's experiment was to inject the children with blue blood and make them members of the Blue Moon Vampire so they could use them to open the Book of the Blue Moons. One day, as Moreau attempted to use Mikel for the experiments, Venados volunteered on his behalf. After they had injected the kids with several types of blood, they got to the last stage of the experiments, where he attempted to link the boys to the Book of Vanitas. The boys screamed and shouted, but Moreau didn't hear, as he attempted to do it. A Blue Moon vampire attacked the facility after destroying the facility. The boys begged him to take them along. He took them away to a nearby home and asked them to introduce themselves. While they talked, Vanitas figured the man was a Blue Moon vampire, and he attempted to stab the man. Vanitas lost consciousness, and the man took him to his home. He took them away and treated Vanitas until he got better. He trained the boys, and they were all family. One day, the man, which Mikel calls father, tells them Moreau's experiments have pushed the boys to a state where they are no longer humans, and they will soon die. The only solution is to make them members of his clan. Mikel accepted the proposition immediately, but Vanitas refused to become a vampire. Vanitas gets to the amusement park, and Mikel drops Noah to welcome his brother. Noah collapses after Mikel drops him. Vanitas meets with Mikel and asks him if he doesn't remember what happened to them that day and if he doesn't remember when he killed Luna, the vampire of the Blue Moon, which Mikel called father. Mikel acknowledges his shortness of memory and says the only thing he remembers is that when someone saved him. He tells Vanitas he didn't come to know why, rather, he came to take Vanitas away, as a man told him there was a way they could bring their father to life. In defense, Vanitas attempts to shoot a gun at Mikel. Noah summons his last strength and stops Vanitas. He says that if anything happens to Mikel, Domi will die, and he isn't interested in losing Domi since he lost his friend Louis. Shockingly, Vanitas states that Noah should know that they aren't friends, and he has only been friends with Noah because their interests align with each other. Noah has no right to ask for his memories. The two friends begin to fight. Vanitas induces his strength and does everything to ensure he destroys Noah, who is only interested in saving Domi. Domi also realizes she is risking her friend's life by making him fight with Vanitas. She attempts to jump down the ferry Mikel has kept her in, As she jumps, she meets John. Mikhail tells her he is with her and she shouldn't trust Jen, but Jen volunteers to save Lady Domi. Since Domi is now saved, Noah has no reason to fight his friend again, and he tries to make peace. But Vanitas forges straight at him. Noah stands still as he watches Vanitas attempt to injure him with a knife. Vanitas points his knife at Noah, but he cannot kill Noah. He drops the knife angrily. This gets Mikhail angry. He confesses that he asked Noah to take Vanitas' blood because he knows Vanitas will kill anyone who attempts to take his blood. He doesn't understand why Vanitas is too weak to kill Noah. Angrily, Mikhail uses his book to call some undead vampires and orders them to kill everyone. He can't control his strength, so he sets everyone ablaze. Domi uses her power of ice and water to protect everyone. Seeing he is lost again, he attempts to exploit his book on Vanitas, but Mikhail injures himself. He calls out for his big brother, but Domi's grandfather, Marquis de Sade, comes for Mikhail. Marquis says he was the one that saved Mikhail and also the one that told Mikhail they could bring Luna back to life. He takes Mikhail and disappears. The next day, Noah wakes up and goes to meet Vanatos on the rooftop. Mikhail also joins them, and he asks Vanitas why Luna died. Vanatos explained that a curse stole Luna's name, and he had to join the Blue Moon so he could kill Luna and break the curse. He says that was why he decided to heal every curse-bearing vampire, and his revenge will be to find the person who cursed their father and killed him. Mikhail says they should attempt to bring their father back to life, but Vanitas refuses. He insists the dead cannot be brought back. He tells Mikhail he doesn't need him, and Mikhail leaves in tears. Vanitas thinks about his last night's action and apologizes to Noah. He accepts Noah as his only and true friend before Dante and Johann come to meet them. So we have come to the end of this recap. If you enjoyed this video, then give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you are yet to, for more recaps on your favorite anime shows.